I'll be taking the sociology optional at AKS, and I'm associated with this institution from quite long time, and I take other GS subjects also, governance, okay, social justice, Indian society, and today we have assembled here for the orientation classes for of the sociology optional, okay, and the optional classes will start from tomorrow, okay, and tomorrow we are going to start with the paper one, and we'll directly start with the very important thinkers, that is the Karl Marx. All right, before going into the schedule of the regular classes, let me tell you why do you have to choose sociology as your optional, and how much sociology is playing a role in getting a rank. First point. Second, how much sociology is playing a role in getting a good score in general studies and also in essay. In this session, we will discuss the various aspects where the sociology, how it has been much helpful in reflection of the GS and also in essay. So what we will do is we will take the orientation about the sociology, the books, the references, the number of time period which you will finish for sociology. Then we will take reference questions. How a sociology optional candidate can easily answer one essay, GS questions, ethics, and how are they being very much useful in getting good scores not only in sociology but also in GS papers. Okay, so along with this, first we will try to decode the subject. First important you have to remember is we will easily finish the syllabus in 4 months. Okay, and we will be finishing both the paper 1 as well as paper 2. First we'll start initially with the paper 1. Once we are done with the paper 1, immediately we'll shift to paper 2. And when we take a paper 2, you should always remember that the paper 2 current affairs associated in paper 2 are very higher, very higher. That's the reason people are able to get good score in the GS paper because of the role of current affairs in paper 2. And how about the thinkers? Most of them come from different background. Few of them come from the science background. As we say, most of them come from engineering background. Most of them come from the medicine background. Few of them come from the commerce background. And people may not have much in-hand experience with the sociology as an optional. And you will, after this session, you will understand why should you choose sociology as an optional, and also how are the people scoring good in number. This year the sociology scores are very high. If you could see the ranks this year, the success ratio of the people who have got good ranks, their optional moreover was sociology, and it is also said that sociology as an optional has helped most of them in GS. So you will really understand when we go into the subject. If you take limited syllabus, why do I say there is a very limited syllabus? Very limited syllabus, which means coherence of the topics of paper 1 and paper 2. We have, I'll show you the syllabus. We have 10 chapters in paper 1 and we have 3 sections in paper 2. First, very important is the paper 1 and paper 2 has lot of coherence. Now, what do you mean by coherence? The topic which we read in paper 1 and the topic which we read in paper 2 are almost correlated. For example, marriage system, family, work and economic life, all right, child labor or role of women, and also the thinkers and their process who try to put something to read about the society is very much common. So that's the reason those topics which are in common are correlated across paper 1 and paper 2, and that can easily be studied, which actually makes it as limited. Next, scope of the subject. We'll also discuss about the scope of the subject. Scope of the subject is very higher. Every year, especially from the paper 2, see in paper 2, 70 to 80% is current affairs. From past 1 2 years, what are things which are in news? Those things which you have to study, because that's the reason I'm calling it as an completely dynamic in nature. Completely dynamic in nature, which means overall current affairs with respect to, for example, tribes, current affairs with respect to PVTGs, particular vulnerable tribal groups, denotified tribes, bills, santals. Alright, so these are those tribes which are always in news. Tribes of northeast, tribes of western Ghats, tribes of central India, the uniqueness of these tribes, and UPSC will frame such a question that sociological applications of government taking initiatives to promote the tribal society. So such kind of questions are asked. These are actually very easy to answer, and these questions are also reflected in your GS part. So every year we have one essay. In essay paper, you have to write two topics. You have to take two topics. One is from each section, section 1 and section 2, and each essay carries how many marks? 125 marks. So overall the marks are 250. So paper 2, if you take it from the last 10 years also, if you could take, in last 10 years there is always one essay which is directly asked from sociology paper 2. Last time there was a topic of new women. Last time there was a topic of patriarchal mindset, child labor, health and nutrition. Such kind of essays which we actually study in the paper 2 are directly reflected in essay, which means candidates may not have to separately sit and prepare for an essay. A separate classes or the mentorship for essay is not required, at least for the section 2, where you have good data with you. Similar data you can go and write and you can score good marks. See, what as per my experience in UPSC, what benefits you is limitness of taking this material, of not reading unnecessary content, eliminating unnecessary things, and choosing the right things. This will take some time, because have you gave your attempt? Oh, this is the first attempt. This is your first attempt. So in the first attempt, people will be very much confused what to choose an optional, and what should be your right optional. Most of them go in different directions, and you have to, I have told you many times, you have to choose optional in such a way that the optional will have coherence. Choose the optional in a very smart way. The optional should have coherence with your GS, and it should reduce your work, and it should reduce your repeated work. For example, if you are reading anything in the optional, make sure that you mark there only that is part of GS so and so syllabus. That makes it is, if your optional is going in one direction and your GS is in another direction, it's your extra effort to read the GS part. So that you shouldn't do, because we have come here not to do PhD. We have come here to clear the exam, get into job, choose an optional very smartly, which can reduce our work. So here, if you take, the syllabus is very limited, and the scope of the subject we will also take. Common topics, what are those? And sociology, which part of GS and essay. Okay, in such cases we will take first the syllabus of the sociology. First chapter is sociology the discipline, which will talk about how did the sociology evolve in the modern society, that is in present society and also in the European society. Sociology's birth okay, which took place in 19th century, that means somewhere around 1838. Sociology's birth which took place in 1838, and it is the youngest discipline. Prior to that, history, psychology, political science, anthropology, okay, mathematics, medicine, biology were all existing. But this is one of the youngest subject. It will study about the changes in the society. When you look at the syllabus of the sociology, it looks as if like we are aware of few topics. If you look at the syllabus, you will be aware of few topics, and you also know that how are these topics interlinked in our daily life. That's how sociology and its comparison with other societies, sociology comparison with other subjects, sociology, okay, how it got evolved in Europe. This was, this will be your first chapter, and second chapter will be sociology as science, research methods and analysis, and the most important, the heart, is sociological thinkers. Remember, we have very few thinkers, we have very countable, we have here 6 thinkers, and we have very few thinkers in paper 2. And it is not like other optional where the number of thinkers are very very high and you have to mug up a lot. But in this case of sociology, the thinkers who are associated are very 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 less, very very less. Now, in sociological thinkers, the most important thinker is like Karl Marx, where, anyways, from tomorrow we are going to start from Karl Marx, okay, and we will discuss sociology in a such a way that if you take any thinker, we will take some quotes, like something like a cheat quote, and that could help you when you write the answer. You should never forget, like for the other batches people, how I have taught and how simple it has become, in the same way it will be for you, where with some mnemonics, where with some quotes, that I will use some case study. Remember this case study, and if you remember this case study, when we have actually applied this case study while writing the answer, which type of thinker you should use, what is the relevance of this thinker, and slowly in that way you will develop your content. The way other students have started writing answers on everyday basis, and other students also started like completing the chapters, chapter wise test, how previous batches have done, okay, earlier, you will also be dealing in the same manner, like daily one answer you will write, it will make you practice. And once we finish one chapter, you will write one answer. So you will write a test, and we will have one-to-one discussion after that, and you will be in a better way. And Emile Durkheim, Max Weber, Talcott Parson, Robert K. Merton, and G.H. Mead. See, every year there are around 2 to 3 questions asked from these thinkers. And when you look at these thinkers in sociology, thinkers are very very limited, very very less. That's where it makes an advantage for you to revise it very quickly and reproduce it at a very correct time. And stratification and mobility, works and economic life, here interlinking will start. Interlinking means, in this concept, where we will take paper 1 as reference, paper 2 as reference, and we will try to correlate. We will try to correlate and we will try to study these topics, so that one side will study Indian part, other side will study Western parts. We will try to bring the topics of the thinkers, and we will go to explore these thinkers. Next, when you take politics and society, how did the politics evolve? Okay, what is the use of politics, or if there are any existing politics, new political system, or the political system which has arrived from any of the areas like European society, American society. We will try to make use of this, and we will try to correlate to present society, that is Indian society. That makes it comparison. Politics and society in European part, or in the paper 1, politics and society in paper 2 will be correlated and we will study. Same like religion, society, system of kinship and social change in modern society. So few of the topics require thinkers and few of the topics do not require any thinker. So wherever it is required, there we can actually correlate and make some codes and we will write. And this is about paper 2 of sociology. Paper 2 of sociology is entirely about Indian thinkers and it is entirely about Indian society. You have to study about Indian society right before the British, post British. How was it before the British? How it is after the British? How it has slowly developed? That is how we will be studying in the Indian society part. We have very limited thinkers. Where if you could take the case of Indian thinkers, we have G.S. Gure, we have M.N. Srinivas and we have A.R. Desai. So three thinkers where exclusively you have to study here. Okay, perspective of Indian society, and there how many thinkers we have on paper 1? 6 thinkers. So holistically 9 thinkers. I'm not saying that there are only 9 thinkers which we are going to use in our topics. We will come across many thinkers here and there, but these are very easy to remember. We will take some cases. For example, if you take a person by the name C.W. Mills. C.W. Mills, he talks about sociology of coffee. Okay, and he also talks about he wrote his concept in the book called Social Imagination. What he tries to say, two different societies are getting interconnected. That is a society which is in Africa where laborers are working and producing some good, and societies in Europe or societies in USA where the author himself is consuming the coffee. So he says, I am consuming coffee to have a good thought. My thought is to write something, to produce something. Before going to do some work, I am consuming coffee. The author is saying. The same way, the author also says, this coffee is produced in Africa. When this coffee is produced in Africa, the labor will produce this. And what is the mindset of the labor? The mindset of the labor is to produce this and earn something. So here two different people are interconnected. Two different societies are interconnected. This is how things will go forward. So this is how you should interlink, and you should write somewhere around connecting of two different societies. Then we will talk about the author C.W. Mills. Okay, like such 10 to 15 additional thinkers we will bring, but we will not exclusively study entirely about them. We will try to bring them in some topics, and so that you can score better marks. Okay, next, impact of colonial rule. Again, it is history. Now in sociology paper 2, we will get polity and constitution. Okay, we get economy, we get environment, we get history. That is how it is getting interlinked to your GS papers. So if you look at this, impact of colonial rule, that means what do the colonial rule have to do with Indian society? What did they do? What are the reforms which they have came with, and how better the society was post British rule. అంటే బ్రిటిషర్స్ వెళ్ళాక మనకు ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వచ్చాక, సో మనకు సొసైటీలో కనబడే డెవలప్మెంట్స్ ఎలాంటివి, వాట్ ఆర్ ద చేంజెస్ వి గెట్ టు సీ ఇన్ ద ఇండియన్ సొసైటీ. సో దట్స్ వాట్ ద క్వశ్చన్ సేస్. దిస్ యూ విల్ స్టడీ ఇన్ హిస్టరీ ఆల్సో. The same thing you will study in Indian history. Okay, and you will also few things in post independence. The same thing will be there. Social background of Indian nationalism, modernization of Indian tradition, protest and movements during the colonial period, and also social reforms. Social reforms, what are the reforms which brought, for example, Brahma Samaj, okay, and Acharya Vinoba Bhave's Bhudan movement. Alright, so such kind of social reforms, sociological reforms, sociological reforms, which brought some changes. Okay, which brought some changes in the Indian society. For example, Pingali Venkayya, he was the one who drafted, who designed our national flag. Alright, so what does social changes we get to see? Unity, togetherness, recognition. That is what we got it when the Indian flag was introduced. So different types of social reforms, Quit India movement, Khilafat movement. Alright, like for example, you can also take Bhakti movement, national movement, and few other aspects which are bringing some sort of changes in the Indian society. So this is purely with respect to the history that we are going to interlink. Next, very important, if you take second section, I told you there are 3 sections and paper 2 is very interesting. పేపర్ 2 చదివినప్పుడు ఎట్లా అనిపిస్తుంది అంటే ఇదేదో జిఎస్ పేపర్ లాగుంది, ప్లస్ జిఎస్కు బాగా యూస్ అవుతుంది. అండ్ ఇక్కడ కొంచెం పర్ఫెక్ట్ చదవడం వల్ల వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఇన్ ద జిఎస్ పేపర్ ఆల్సో. ఇక్కడ బాగా ఆన్సర్ రాసడం వల్ల జిఎస్ కూడా యూస్ అవుతుంది అనే థాట్ డెఫినెట్గా ఎవ్రీ స్టూడెంట్ విల్ గెట్ ఇట్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ టేక్ ద సెక్షన్ బి, rural and agrarian social structure, that means how is the agrarian society of India, because you know most of the Indian society is an agrarian society and most of the population is dependent on agriculture, and agriculture acts as an backbone of the Indian economy. So earlier agriculture contribution was very very high, but over a period of time as service sector has improved, the contribution made by the agriculture has come down. So this is a basic line which you should remember. So based on that, what is the agrarian and rural structure, how it is going to evolve, and what are the evolution of land tenure system, what are the different land reforms. Land reforms till 1970, the first land reform, okay, till Indira Gandhi took charge by forming various committee, as the first land reform was not successful. What is the definition of land reform? Distributing of land to the landless. If any set of the people do not have land, then it is expected that those set of people should be given some piece of land, 2 acres, 3 acres. Okay, such distribution is called as a land reform, because most of the land is in concentrating in the hand of the few, and hence it is your duty and responsibility. Hence it is your duty as well as your responsibility to ensure that land is being distributed to landless. Do you think everyone has land? Do you think everyone has land? Everyone has a piece of land? Definitely no. Then why do you think that most of them do not hold any land? What is the reason? Why do you think that most of them do not hold any land? What is the reason that most of them do not hold any land? Poverty. What is the reason that most of them do not hold any land? What is the reason? Which place you are from? Karnataka. So do you think that in all your different places land is equally distributed? Definitely no. I'm asking you why. Because the system which we implemented, it was not successful in reaching to those people who actually need. So till 1970 we have worked, but it did not work well to get the people benefited with certain percentage of land. But post 1970, Srimati Indira Gandhi took various reforms. These reforms brought, okay, at least some benefits. That's the reason first phase of land reforms is not that successful, but second phase we can consider at least somewhat better than first phase, where at least some people got benefit, few of them got benefit because of the land reform. And next, once we read about land tenure system, what are different land tenure? Zamindari system, Mahalwari system, Raitwari system. So these are the systems, and who are the owners. So which subject is this? Which subject is this? Zamindari, Mahalwari, history. You read in history, but also you read in here. One or two thinkers will come. For example, Mahatma Gandhi. He would have said something about land tenure system. Okay. Or Dr. B.R. Babasaheb Ambedkar. He would have said something about land. Acharya Vinoba Bhave. He would have said something. So we should bring them and we should quote in our answers. And remaining everything is very similar. Very similar and very simple to write paper 2. That's the reason most of them who are very good in sociology paper 2, they will get a very good score. If you want to score 300 plus, in sociology, then you have to score very massively in paper 2. Paper 2 enta bar ayalante, you have to put lot of efforts, case studies, examples, little bit of data which can save you and it can also help you to secure at least 150 to 160 in this. And in case if you get 140 also, then you will get nearly to 300. 300 means you are almost into the interview. That's it. Then no one will stop you to get an interview. Because of this, you will definitely be helpful in GS papers. What are those also we'll study. Next, caste system. Do India has a caste system? Obviously yes. Caste system plays a very important role. So what are the perspectives which was explained by G.S. Gure, M.N. Srinivas, Louis Dumont, Andre Bethele with respect to caste system? And what are the different features of caste system, different types of caste systems? Why were the caste system? What is the difference between caste system? Okay, we have either any other countries do they have caste system? How did the caste system evolve? Kula, work, occupation. Okay, and next, untouchability. Do you think untouchability exists? It do exist in the rural areas, but when it comes to the modern or technological society, I don't think so there will be any untouchability. People hardly care about which religion you belong, which caste you belong. Service oriented, technology oriented people are much belonging to their any sort of religion or caste, doesn't mind this, like earnings, okay, the work, the life, the pressure. This is what is there in urban, but in rural, the caste system, untouchability do matters. Next, very important, tribal communities. This is the most important, which will be again useful in your GS papers. GS papers, ethics, alright, and your paper 1, paper 2 of GS. Tribal, definition problems. What are the definition problems? Geographical spread, colonial policies, issues of integration and autonomy. So when you take about tribal communities in India, the tribal communities, India has a rich tribal communities. India has a good population of tribal communities. And the concentration of tribal communities is very, very high in India. Northeast region, central region. We have a very important group which is called as PVTG. You have come across PVTG? Particular vulnerable tribal groups. That means these are the peoples, these are the set of tribal who are part of, these are set of tribal who are part of tribals, but they are very weaker compared to other tribals. Within the tribal, these are societies which are very, very weak. Then they are socially and economically disadvantaged groups. So what is the responsibility of the government? The responsibility of the government is to protect them, promote them, give them some employment, education opportunity, give them some help, benefits, basic benefits, etc. PVTGs, we have 75 declared PVTGs by the government. 75 spread across the states, different states. And highest among them will be in Odisha, joint Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu we have. So there we have different groups of PVTGs. So such kind of aspects we'll study in tribal communities. What government has brought benefit, how government has brought benefit to PVTGs, tribals, okay, and how tribals are facing issue, and how is the government helping to resolve the problem of the tribals. Recently government launched a scheme which is called as PM Janman. You have come across this scheme, PM Janman, where government is exclusively giving benefits to 75 PVTGs, tribal groups. Okay. Next, colonial policies, tribes, issues of integration and autonomy. Within the tribes only, there are other set of tribes which are considered as dangerous tribes. Who declared them as dangerous? Britishers declared them as dangerous because they were considered into heinous crimes, habitual crimes. Habitual crimes ante endi, repeated ga oddannappudu kuda ade crimes cheyadam. That means they were continuing in the same crimes, even they were penalized. And their generation continues, and they are being notified under habitual offenders. Habitual offenders means those people who repeatedly commit crimes, and by hierarchy you will not be getting any benefits, you will not be getting any social employment benefits or opportunities. Then where will they go? Everyone are part of this country, everyone should be getting benefited. In such cases, government started them to denotify them, and later they got assimilated into tribal. That means malli tribal sections lo add cheyadam. So there are certain committees, commissions, etc. which are involved. You must have watched movies, na Khaki movie. You watch Khaki movie? Khaki movies judara, very decent. Khaki movie. You have Khaki movie. Now in the Khaki movie, they will explain the starting. These are the tribes which are identified by the Britishers who were considered the Khaki. ఎవడో చేసిన పనికి ఇప్పుడున్న జనరేషన్ని పనిష్ చేయడం కరెక్టా? లేదు కదా. ఎవరో ఆ టైంలో వాళ్ళకి ఏం అవసరం ఉందో అలాంటి ఇష్యూస్ చేసారు. కానీ ఓవర్ ఎ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైం అదే జనరేషన్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గెటింగ్ కంటిన్యూడ్, అండ్ వాట్ డిడ్ ఐ డూ మిస్టేక్? Somebody else, the forefathers or generations have done mistake. You are considering those people into the habitual offenders laga betti, and you are not giving any social benefits. That is so wrong. That's the reason government recently declared them to be part of the tribal groups, and all the benefits which the other tribals are getting, they will also will get it. Is it clear? So such things we'll study, and it is part of actually current affairs. This is mostly current affairs only. And next, social classes in India: agrarian, industrial, middle classes in India. This is socio-economical part. This you will be getting in, again you will be getting it in paper 3 of GS in economy. Okay. And next, system of kinship, religion and society, and this we will relate with the paper 1 and we'll study, because I told you like there are few topics which we will relate with the paper 1 and study, that is making it as limited. These are the two top points which will correlate and study. Next, section C. I have told you in paper 2 we have 3 sections: section 1 and section 2. Section 1 and section 2 we have economy, we have environment, we have governance, okay, we have history, we have these topics. Where you study in GS, same thing you will study here. But section C, irrespective of GS, completely it is current affairs. So you should be, when you are going for the examination hall, you should be in a position that you are much equipped with the current affairs. You should have a good knowledge in the current affairs. Where if you take section C, social changes in India. Social change, what are the different types of social changes in India? That too, visions of social change in India, idea of development planning and mixed economy, constitution, law and social change, education and social change. What are these topics related to? Either these topics are related to economy, or these topics are basically related to the polity or governance. What you study there, the same thing gets reflected here. Next, thinkers. Ippudu thinkers rayala. Is it necessary to write thinkers? Avsaram unte rastaru. If it is needed, you will write. If it is not needed, just you can remove it. Quote about Karl Marx, quote about Mahatma Gandhi, quote about Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Okay? Quote about few of the most important thinkers which you know, which you read regularly in the Indian polity book. Same thing, you can utilize them. Okay? Next, rural and agrarian transformation. This is completely with respect to economy. Here, programs of rural development, CDP, community development program, cooperatives, poverty alleviation scheme, green revolution, modes of production, problems of rural labor, bondage migration. Are you getting something? What is this topic? Again, socio-economy, socio-economical, okay, and few important points with respect to the green revolution, few important points with respect to the poverty. What is the definition of a poverty? What is poverty? What is poverty? Very tough question. What is poverty? If the set of people are not getting satisfied, the set of people are not getting satisfied with their basic needs. The set of people are not getting satisfied with the basic needs. What are the basic needs? Food, shelter and clothing. Basic needs. Not Swiggy, Zomato, nothing like that. So food, shelter and clothing, if you are not getting satisfied, then you are said to be in poverty. Okay? So now same thing. Till here you have poverty alleviation schemes, problems of rural labor, bondage, migration. Next one, industrialization and urbanization in India. That is, how did India got industrialized, and what is the meaning of urbanization? Urbanization means moving from one place to another place because of certain pull factors and push factors. Pull factors means what? Something which is there better. It will automatically pull you to get, because of to have the better standard of living. If something which is push factor, what do you mean by push factor? Lack of basic resources, exploitation, untouchability, caste system, crimes, security issues. Okay? Any sort of issues which are actually making you to forcibly leave the place. These are all push factors. So push factors and pull factors both are together leading towards this urbanization concept. And if you see evolution of modern history in India, growth of urban settlements in India, working class, informal sector, slums and deprivation. So what did you understand from this? This is the basic Indian society problems. Urbanization, migration, slums. Okay, these are the basic problems. And you cannot write the answers here without the current data. What is today's migration? What is today's poverty? What is today's agriculture contribution to the GDP? What is today's industrialization, urbanization, liberalization, privatization concept? Where is India standing today? So that's the reason I said C section is completely current affairs section. Without, if you don't read current affairs, then I don't think so you can answer any of the question in section C. Next, politics and society, social movements in India. Now you look at social movements in India, women movement, backward classes, environmental movement, ethnicity, okay, peasants and farmers movement. So what is the meaning of environmental movement? What are the environmental movements you know? What are the different environmental movements you know? Chipko movement, Narmada Bachao Andolan, okay, and Apiko movement. Such kind of movements which we already studied, those will be part of the environmental movements. Next is population dynamics. This is one beautiful chapter. You will be asked two questions. Two you can answer. రెండిట్లోంచి ఏదో ఒక చూస్ చేసుకుంటారు because it is almost similar. Now population size, density, death, migration, again composition of the population, aging, sex ratio, IMR, MMR, etc. So these are not new. You would have known something about them. How was India during 1950? How is India in 2020 and how is India in 2025? So this is how you will study. So again we'll study population dynamics, okay, with respect to aging, with respect to sex ratio, family planning programs, etc. India has done family planning programs since 1975, right? So since then we have been working hard to eliminate the issues arising out of increasing the population. Okay, so population dynamics, again, if you take the population dynamics, India is the most populous country in the world and second populous is China. So you know this, these are very basic. And second, median age of India. What is the median age of India? 28 years. Median age of India, how do you calculate? What is the median age of this classroom? All of them age added and the value which you get it divided by number of people. You get average age of this classroom. The same way, average age of India is ages of all divided by number of people. So you will get an average or a median age. So when you take average or the median age, in that case, India's average or median age is 28. It is one of the youngest in the median age. China is somewhere around 37 years. USA is all 37 years. European Union or Europe countries are at 44 years. Japan is at 47 years. So oldest population we have in Japan. Simple. Oldest population you have in Japan. This is such a beautiful topic. It is inclusive of all the current affairs. All the current affairs. Exactly current affairs. Total fertility rate data. Total fertility rate was very high during independence. In 1950, post-independence, total fertility rate was 5.9, means 6. 6 means what? An average number of kids a mother will be delivering during her good reproductive cycle. 6 kids means first 4 or 3 kids mother can be healthy, but post the mother age will fall and mother health will fall. The kids who are born will also fall repeated ill or may trap of contagious diseases. So this is the problem of having over kids in the family. So what is the total fertility rate now? 2. It has come down to 2. That means we have reduced 4 kids. So obviously birth rate is controlled, and because of lot of health measures, etc., death rate is also controlled. So median age mundukelle chance undi. So that is all the factors which we are going to read in the population dynamics. Last one, challenges of social transformation. Their crisis of development, displacement. Displacement, most of the people are getting displaced because of the development aspects, industrial development or any sort of development, tribal displacements we get to see. So when the tribal displacement we get to see, obviously what will happen? In such cases, You have been displaced to new places. And how is the compensation made? Land with land, land with paisa, agriculture with agriculture, agriculture with non-agriculture. So what are those clauses we will be studying? We also study in this coming across land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlements. That how, so you must be knowing about Amravati. Okay, the farmers started protesting because of not having proper or inadequate compensation. Every state has such issues. Okay, next, again poverty, deprivation, inequalities. Within paper 2 again you will get the same thing. Where you have got it, poverty alleviation related schemes is asking you, and here you have, again here you have poverty, deprivation, inequality, almost the similar. Violence against women, violence against women or violence against men. I put syllabus, they added women, it's okay. So violence against women, caste conflicts, ethnic conflicts, religious revivalism, illiteracy and disparity in education. So in this concept, what did you understand from the syllabus? What did you understand from the syllabus? Sociology paper 2 is holistic, compound, mixture. What all you get to see? You get to see history, you get to see economy, you get to see social issues. Okay, you said to see economy, you said to see governance, socio-economic development, history, polity. So you get to see everything. So that's the reason paper 2 is very, very dynamic. Once you read paper 2, you have a good knowledge in your GS papers also. Okay. Now what are the reference books we should read? What are the different reference book you should read? And I will not like suggest unnecessary books. If the books are quite very important, then only I will suggest you to go through those books. So for example, Indian Society class 12th, Social Change and Development in India class 12. So if in case if you want to make any references in the books, so you can read these books, Indian Society and Social Change and Development in India class 12. These are the two important books. If you could read, it will also be useful for your preliminary. If you could read, you may get some questions in the preliminary. Differences between the opinion of Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar. Such questions were asked. Opinion and the differences between the opinion of Karl Marx and Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, such kind of questions are always framed in preliminary and the mains. So we will be reading and coming across all these things. You will definitely understand once we start our classes. So our classes will start from tomorrow only. So we'll be starting the thinkers tomorrow, and we'll make sure that the sociological thinkers of the Karl Marx will be taught, and it will be like a story only. The entire thinkers like a story only. What did he do? How did he move forward? Within that, I'll frame some questions, and you can usually answer such questions. So Indian Society class 12, Social Change and Development in India class 12th. These are two books which are actually preferred to be read. And next, these are the two books, and I have put two books, and I suggest you not to buy these books. So generally faculties will put the the list of the books and they suggest you to write, but I am a faculty where I'll suggest only to write NCERT. Read NCERT books, that's quite enough. You need not read this book, and that is why we have been brought to explain, to read, to content, to provide some sort of important synopsis. In case if you want to study, like people will ask you what are you studying, sociology, and people also should know that your optional is sociology. In such case, what you can actually do is you can buy orange book and put it on your study table, so that people should also understand that you are reading sociology now. Yes. So in that cases, if you wanted, if in case if you wanted to say that you are preparing for UPSC and you wanted to tell them that your optional is sociology, then buy this orange book. It also shines from very far distance and it looks good. And this is actually a good book. You can, if you want to buy, you can buy this. If you buy blue, you will become a scholar. And you just buy this book and place on your table. None of the students, sociology preparing students will never come to you, because they know the importance of this book and they will not disturb you anytime. And this book is 3,000 rupees. And it's 3,000 to 4,000 rupees. And don't make any efforts to buy this book. It's very costly. and this book is like affordable, but I suggest you not to buy. In case if you want to buy, then you can buy this so that people can understand. Your optional is sociology. If you want, you can themes and perspectives. It's a good book. Among them, it's a good book. Okay, you can read. But in case if you wanted to skip, better to skip both the books. Okay, so now paper 2. Paper 2 is, I told you, very dynamic. One second. Paper 2 is very, very dynamic, and in paper 2, again same thing. Read, I will start from one chapter and finish all the chapters, and everything will be in the notes. 2 to 3 volumes of notes you will get it. Safeguard your notes, security notes. Read that again and again. Write class test, talk to me, discuss with me, close matter. అంతేగాని బుక్స్ తీసుకొని స్కాలర్ అయ్యి, ఓకే, సో అన్నెసరీగా మీరు ఒక స్కాలర్ అయ్యి మీరు బుక్ రాసి మీ బుక్ వేరే వాళ్ళు చదివి వాళ్ళు స్కాలర్ అయ్యి ఈ చైన్ని కట్ చేస్తే బెటర్. క్లియర్? సో యూ వాంట్ టు బికమ్ ఎ స్కాలర్ ఆర్ యూ వాంట్ టు బికమ్ ఎ ర్యాంకర్? నో, ఐమ్ జస్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఇది. ఇట్స్ ఇన్ అప్ టు యూ. హౌ డూ యూ యూస్ the content given by the faculty. So in case, I suggest one book to most of my students. In case if you want to study, you buy this book, Social Change in Modern India, M.N. Srinivas. This is a good book. You will understand. It is like M.N. Srinivas will explain about few societies in our country. For example, Coorg, Rampura village, Karnataka, etc., where people try to start imitating the different aspects. What are the different aspects? For example, in this case, if you take, you must be knowing the concept of Sanskritization, right? What is Sanskritization? Adopting the culture of higher caste system by the lower caste system and try to imitate them. They try to imitate the lower caste system, trying to imitate the upper caste activities. This is called as Sanskritization. This was beautifully explained. It was beautifully explained by this person, M.N. Srinivas. So if you want, you can read this one book, and remaining is not needed. Just if you come across, చూడని కూడా బాగుంటుంది, అది వైట్ కలర్ కవర్గా ఉండి నీట్గా ఉంటుంది. మన బుక్స్లో షెల్ఫ్లో పెట్టుకున్నా కూడా కొంచెం మంచి ఫీల్ వస్తుంది. ఏదో ఒక బుక్స్ అయినా కొనాలి కదా. ఇంత దూరం వచ్చిర్రు, సివిల్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అవుతారు. డైలీ ఇఫ్ లక్ష్మీకాంత్ Indian polity is on your table, so they will feel that this guy is only reading polity. So in such cases, if you want to show that we also have some thinkers and sociologies are optional, తీసి 2 బుక్స్ పెట్టేయండి బయట, కొన్ని రోజులు పెట్టి మళ్ళీ లోపల పెట్టేయండి. సో ఇది చదవండి ఈ బుక్, సోషల్ చేంజ్ ఇన్ మోడర్న్ ఇండియా. ఇది చాలా మంచి బుక్ ఇది, and this will actually help you to understand Indian village, complete village system, culture, untouchability, caste system, ఓకే, డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ రిలీజియన్స్, ట్రైబ్స్. అద్భుతంగా ఉంటుంది బుక్. అది చదివితే అలాంటి బుక్ చదవండి, లేకపోతే క్లాస్ నోట్స్ చదువుకోండి చాలు. నెక్స్ట్, వాట్ ఆర్ ద థింగ్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ ఇంటర్ రిలేటెడ్? దిస్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. వాట్ ఆర్ ద థింగ్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ ఇంటర్ రిలేటెడ్ అండ్ interconnected means what? What are the things which are in combination? That is paper 1 and paper 2. How are they combined? So you look at, if the case of system of kinship in paper 1, we read them together. System of kinship Western, system of kinship in India, Indian. That means we don't read them separately. We read them because kinship is a common definition, family is a common definition, religion is a common definition. So we have a common definition, and we'll read in this chapter the Western thinker's perspective, Indian thinker's perspective. What Karl Marx said, what Talcott Parsons said, what Emil Durkheim said. Other side, what Mahatma Gandhi said, what A.R. Desai said, what M.N. Srinivas said. So if you could remember a few thinkers, and if you know what is that perspective on religion, then it will be very very simple for you to cover your syllabus on time. I don't think so any optional has similarity in 2 papers. I don't think so any optional has similarity in 2 papers. Coherence, similar things, I don't think so there is any optional which have the very similar things. And this is very similar. Lineage and descent, linear descent in types of kinship, family and marriage, and household dimension of family. So if you take the case of the family, whenever a child is born, then sir, what do you mean by the perspective of the thinkers? If you say whenever a child is born, very simple language. See, if a child is born, there arises happiness in the family. But Karl Marx says one thing, according to his perspective, before the family celebrates, capitalist will celebrate. Who's capitalist? One who works for profit motive. If at all it is been known that a child is born, if at all known that child is born, family will definitely celebrate. Before the family, capitalist will celebrate. Then what Karl Marx says, why capitalists will celebrate? Because they got one labor. How the capitalists will see other set of people as a labor. Tomorrow you will come to me and you will work with me. So capitalist will think that one labor is born. This is how, who says this? Karl Marx. So we have to study in this perspective. What is his perspective? Imal Durkheim will say some other perspective. So that is the reason we have to correlate and study. Okay, the same thing, different perspectives. Next again, two topics are interlinked. Okay, and how many chapters we have in paper 1? 10 chapters. One topic is interlinked, we have 9. So here, works and economic life, industrialization and urbanization in India, evolution of modern industry, urban settlements, working class, informal sector, informal organization, labor and society, slums and deprivation. Okay, so terminology is quite a little bit different, but almost the chapter is similar again. Both of the topics are quite similar. What happened after LPG reforms, what were used to be before LPG reforms, after LPG reform, what is present in 2025. So both the things with respect to Western and also Indian. So here again two topics are interlinked. That means 4 chapters you can interlink and study within paper 1 and paper 2. Next, one more topic which is very, very important is called as politics and society. Politics and society in paper 2. This is almost similar. Sociology theories, there are few theories which you will study in the paper 1. But when you take about the paper 2, you don't have theories but directly political parties, pressure groups, social and political elites, regionalism, secularization. The same topics will be repeated. Almost very similar chapter, both of them. So how many topics are interlinked in paper 1 and paper 2 is 6 chapters. Together we'll sit and study. That's why it is making the syllabus as limited, and that's why you can cover. ఇప్పుడు అర్థం కాదు, సోషాలజీ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యాక, సోషాలజీ ఎండ్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఆ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో వాట్ ఆర్ the topics which are interrelated, how many thinkers we have, how much interlinkages we have done, how much it is helping in the GS, you will understand at the end of covering of the syllabus. Now if you look at Indian society, you have gone through the entire paper 2. This is GS now. In GS, if you take Indian society, salient features, diversity, role of women, population, poverty, urbanization. Did you heard anywhere? Paper 1 or paper 2? Paper 2. The sociology paper 2, we have similar topics, regionalism, secularism, the same topics we will be studying in the Indian society. So it is again overlap with GS. And second, if you take GS2, and to remind you, this is the complete syllabus. Indian society, there were 7 to 8 marks, means 80 marks will be there. 7 to 8 questions means 80 marks will be asked. And here if you take social justice, issues related to development and management of social sector, poverty, hunger, welfare schemes, issues related to development and management. Here we have, which we actually studied about dynamics, poverty related, elevation related schemes, untouchability types, same thing you will get it here. This is GS paper 2 and this is GS paper 3. We discussed GS paper 3, land reforms in India, issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, inclusive growth, agriculture system in India, what we studied in the paper 2, same thing again. And also land system, land reforms system. Land reforms, I told you that in paper 2 we will be studying about Mahalwari, Raituwari, Zamindari. Along with that, the different type of movements with respect to the land reforms, same thing will be covered. That's why this is an optional where we have wide usages. Application of this optional is very, very high. Optional ఎలా తీసుకోవాలంటే బేసికలీ రిపీటెడ్ వర్క్ ఉండకూడదు, ఆప్షనల్లోనే ఇంటర్ రిలేటెడ్ ఉండాలా, దాంతో మళ్ళీ జిఎస్తో యూజ్ అయి ఉండాలా. దట్ ఈస్ యాక్చువల్లీ మేకింగ్ యువర్ వర్క్ లెస్. సివిల్స్లో యూ హ్యావ్ టు రీడ్ లెస్, రివైజ్ మోర్. You read less and revise more, it will actually be very, very helpful for you. In ethics also, role of family, society, educational institution, and also certain thinkers who are associated. Topmost thinkers what we write in paper 1 and paper 2, you can use them directly. You can use them directly without changing the codes also. Now what are the benefits you see? Applying sociology to GS and essay. General studies one topic which is relevant. Basically in second section you will get for 125 marks. Recently they have asked new women. So such kind of topics will be considered. In GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 also it is having more relevance. Alright. So sociological benefits, sociological benefits which we actually get to see most of the time. And in the paper 1, paper 2, in the paper 2 coherence with respect to current affairs is very important. For example, Waqf bill, for example tribal issues, okay, for example issues with respect to restoration of Western Ghats, issues which are faced in the northeastern society, developmental problems, okay, and issues with respect to environmental, climate change and global warming. Most of them things which we knew the topics, those kind of topics we will be referring. All right, any doubt you have? Any doubt? All your doubts I only solved. All your doubts. So whenever we meet, we'll start with sociological thinkers, and sociological thinkers we will be discussing about how, what, and few minutes about how the sociology got developed. Then we'll start the thinkers. In the thinkers we'll start with the Karl Marx, and it will be like a story. Regularly revise your class notes, and I'll be giving a answer question. I'll be giving you a question, you can write the answer, and slowly you will develop. Once the chapter is done, I will put a test. There again you will make sure that you will write the test and you will get it evaluated how your seniors have done. In the same way you will sit and you will be evaluating, okay, you will be part of the evaluation and ensuring that you will have an improvement, okay. So not more than 4 months, so in and around of 4 months we can finish the syllabus of the sociology, okay. And if you take the sociology question paper of paper 2 and paper 1, paper 2 is very dynamic as I told you, and they will ask you questions like increasing suicides of women, workplace harassment of women, why more women participate for the environmental concerns, okay, child care, child cuddling. Recently there was a question asked, child cuddling is replaced with mobile phones. Obviously true. Mother care, father care, that has been replaced by technology. Most of the kids spend time with technology. So in such case obviously the question was asked in the GS papers. So in the paper 2 of sociology, like earlier they have asked a question on, do you think the land reforms made by the government is been successful? So these questions will be asked for 300 words, 20 marks. Alright, 300 words and 20 marks. So it will be, once you are done with your GS and parallelly in the institution, you are part of institution. Once you are done with the GS and you are also will be done maximum with the sociology, then you will understand while reading GS that this topic is useful in sociology, and you will be definitely be working to get current aspect of this. As I told you just now, PVTG, denotified tribe, Kushkoi community. Kushkoi community is a community in the Turkey region. They are very famous for speaking bird language. Okay, bird language, and they call it whistling community. They whistle, and it is something like very similar to how the birds interact with themselves or with others. So it is something like the birds, how the birds speaks, the same way how the human beings interact. It is very similar. So Kushkoi community is very famous. So we have Kushkoi community in Meghalaya also. Such kind of tribes are always in news. See, you know Neela Kurinji. You must be knowing Neela Kurinji. Neela Kurinji in Tamil Nadu, Western Ghat region. You call it Blue Mountain. Nilgiris. So why do you call them Nilgiris? Blue mountain. Why do you call them as a blue mountain? Only because of these flowers. These flowers are called as Neela Kurinchi. So Neela Kurinchi flowers blossom once in 12 months. Sorry, once in 12 years. So once in 12 years the tribes will use them and will calculate the ages. That's the reason tribal communities questions are always asked in our main examination. Okay, always this such kind of questions are asked, and again it is correlated mostly with the current affairs. Maximum current affairs questions are being asked. Maximum current affairs relevant questions are being asked. Now population related question, education related questions, social schemes, social welfare schemes, how far the schemes introduced by the government of India have been successful. According to you, what are the schemes introduced by the government of India is very successful? What are the schemes introduced by the government of India is very successful? What are the schemes introduced by the government of India are very successful? Same, my name only. PM Fasal Bima Yojana is successful. Okay, good. Next. Two, successful. Amma? Very good. PM Jandan Yojana. Three. అందరూ ఒక్కొక్క చెప్పారు, మనం కూడా ఒక చేస్తే అయిపోయింది. Don't remember? Manrega. What is Manrega? Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Manrega. This for wage employment. కూలీ పనులకు వెళ్తారు కదమ్మా గవర్నమెంట్ వాళ్ళకు, కూలీ పనులకు డైలీ హౌ మచ్ గవర్నమెంట్ విల్ గివ్ దెమ్ 100 or 150 రూపీస్ ఇస్తుంది. ఓకే, 100 days ఆఫ్ వర్క్ ఇస్తుంది కంపల్సరీ. దిస్ ఈస్ వెరీ సక్సెస్ఫుల్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ సచ్ ఎ స్కీమ్. ఇట్ ఈస్ done with 12 plus years. Many governments have come, different governments have come into picture, but none of them has removed this code. This is the most successful scheme. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Ujjwala Yojana is for what? Gas cylinders. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, this is for gas cylinders. This is very successful scheme. Public distribution system. When did we introduce this? In 1960s. This is one successful scheme. Why did you introduce public distribution system? Whom will be given food grains there? Those set of people, okay, who are part of BPL families, they will be given subsidized food grains at a very lower price compared to the market price. Second, in the other case, if you look at the case of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, distribution of food grain free of cost. Free of cost, we will try to distribute the food grains. Is it clear? So there are some, he will ask you sociological impacts of the successful schemes which are introduced in India. Means he will not say successful schemes. What are the successful schemes which you think that schemes you should take, and you should put a reference and you should explain that, sir, these are the benefits which have been given. So how you should choose that scheme? At least would have covered 5 to 6 years, and it is helping. Like Jandan Yojana is very successful. Okay, Fasal Bima Yojana is very successful. PM Kisan like Raitu Bandhu is very, very successful. So how should you choose schemes? How should you write answers? The way other people have struggled, in the same way initial stage you will also struggle, but over a period of time. And when the topic is sociology, is how society has developed. Definition of sociology itself is changes in the society we get to see from the ancient to the present. Tomorrow some changes are there, that is also recorded in the society. You'll study about family, you'll study about household, you study about child labor, you'll study about industries, you'll study about land reforms, you study about the national movement, you will study about law change, you'll study about politics, you'll study about the marriage system, you study about untouchability, study about tribals. Everything you study, I am very sure it will be useful in your interview, because I don't think so they will cross anything out of these topics, and I'm sure that you will correlate things and you will answer. So at the end I can say this is the topics which are also give you very great knowledge in understanding about the past and the present, and can also put you in a good comfortable score in the interviews. All right, so when we meet tomorrow, then we will be starting with the thinkers and also few introduction. Okay, carry very proper books. Okay, and as I say to your seniors, so they used to carry two books, set of books. One is the regular class notes, another book will be for the current affairs. So I always suggest to maintain a separate book for the current affairs, so that whenever I say that today's current affairs and which is in news, then immediately you can write there. That will be useful for your GS as well as paper 2. I will quote there GS paper 3, sociology section C, chapter number 2. This is the topic which is related. This is how we study, so that it could be useful for you in generating and also useful for you in correlating things. All right, so any doubt you can ask. Any doubt? No doubt, well prepared. Chalo, thank you so much for attending the session, and we'll meet tomorrow.